Hey, it's Dan. Welcome back. You're watching iAllegedly. And I've got a good one for you today because we thought it was over. Thought it was all done. Thought we could just go away. But it's not. So, before I get into it, please hit the like button. Please share this video. Comment in the video. And today we have a sponsor, Patriot Gold. And I will talk about them a little later. But let's get right into it. You know, we just had a squatter's law passed in the state of Florida. So everybody said, oh, the squatter problem's going to end. And then we had Georgia step forward and they did the Squatters Reform Act because it was crazy. Now, in Georgia, you have communities, some high-end houses, $450,000, $600,000 to $600,000 houses in Hampton Oaks, where in one subdivision, there were 18 houses that were taken over by squatters. 18. And legislatures came together and said, let's pass a law and let's get these people kicked out. So you've got to verify, that you have a lease. You've got to verify that you are living there, that you're paying rent, and that you can you have to have verification. And if the cops show up, they can remove you quicker without having to go through the formal eviction process and have people delayed. Now, we've all heard about these stories where people are lying and saying, hey, you just take over somebody's house, and if they're gone for 30 days, it's your house, okay? Yeah, that's happening. But the thing that's wild about this is that legislation is being passed to finally kick these people out. And when you read the story below about Georgia, this one high-end homeowners association, which, think about it, you pay an extra fee to live in your house, in addition to your payment, in addition to your utilities, in addition to your property taxes, for them to maintain the grounds. Sometimes you have a guard gate. Sometimes you have a gated community, well-maintained parks, lawns, pools, things like that. Well, these people are paying extra to have that, and then you've got some clown that moves in and just says, hey, it's my house now. Wow, isn't that crazy to think about? So this is going to solve that problem, right? No. No. New York is a joke right now. New York is an absolute disaster. I know people that run conference companies that, hey, let's go back to New York. Never. They're never going back to New York. With everything that's going on with crime, with how they treat business owners, everything, it's an absolute disaster. And you're going to see more and more people go and not do business in New York. Now, think about this. These conferences, one of them's large. One of them has over 500 people that attend it. So if you think about that, think of all the hotel rooms that they're missing out, all the extra income, all the restaurants, all the shopping, the airline, taxis, Ubers, everything that goes into traveling to a city that's being lost. We'll go someplace else. We'll go to the south. We'll go to Florida. We'll go anywhere but New York. That's what's happening. And you're going to see this happen more and more and more right now, okay? So here's a wild story out of New York where a woman and her boyfriend, Julia Fullman, goes out and buys a duplex, okay? Goes on vacation, comes back, and there's people living there. So she calls the cops, goes in to change the locks, and people inside the place do the normal thing of, hey, we'll call the police, we'll have you removed. Cops show up, and this is the worst part. Can't provide any documentation that they live there. Can't provide any documentation that they pay rent. Can't provide anything of proof of anything, okay? So she then has to file an eviction. Here's the worst part. The tenants then come up with a fake lease, and they get an attorney who will represent them, and he then sues Julia, okay? She's now getting sued, okay, for hundreds of thousands of dollars because they're saying that she violated their rights. It's, again, backwards land, absolute backwards land that we're living in right now, okay? So she's already spent $4,000 on legal fees, and this is, just the Insanoville that we live in. Now, guys, this is the beginning of this right now, okay? The absolute beginning of this. The next one, is Terry Boyette. Terry Boyette lives in Dallas, And she has a sad story, single woman, successful, goes and, earns enough money that she can travel and things like that, but her mother gets sick. So she has to go to Florida and tend to her sick mother, comes back only to find out that not only is there somebody living in her house, but they sold everything. They had yard sales and sold all of her personal possessions from the house. So this woman loses everything. They sell everything that's hers, and she can do nothing other than sue these people. So absolute insanity and crazyville. The worst thing was they were selling drugs out of the house. In addition to that, the squatters rented out rooms and, took rent and made rental agreements with people, and the people are living there. It took 9 months to get these people out of the house. 9 months. So, guys, just when you think this stuff is done, it's not done. It's not done at all. So, share your thoughts on this stuff so far. Let me know what you think, because, again, where does it end? Where does it end? Why do the criminals have more rights than the tax-paying citizens of any place? Now, you can sit there and say, oh, that's only in crazy, New York. It's only in Georgia. No, it's in Texas too, guys. It's all over the place. But do you think, and this is what I want the comments, do you think that these laws, the Squatters Reform Act, do you think that this is going to change the tune for everybody? You think this is going to be the thing that makes it so that people go, oh, hey, we shouldn't do this because they're going to sue us now and we're going to get arrested? Will they? That's the thing. I don't know if they will or not. I think that this is just absolute Looneyville that we live in right now. But mark my words, New York City, New York State is going to suffer huge, huge ways, because, here's the other thing, as I cover New York on the first segment. Think about this. There are tenants in Manhattan that before the pandemic, you had Gucci, you had Louis Vuitton, you had really high-end tenants that were paying top dollar for their buildings. And during the pandemic, they had to cut back and they had to get rid of some space. So instead of having, 3 stories for the Louis Vuitton store, it's just one now. So people that took over those places, well, you're in a high-end area. You need to pay property taxes for the high-end building. And people are saying, no, we don't have the foot traffic anymore. So do you think it's fair that they're trying to squeeze these people for more money, saying that because you're in this high-end area, you need to pay for? There's lawsuits about this. Great story below on that too. But let me know, guys, what you think about this, because you can't have it that you charge top dollar for everything. Everything is suffering right now. Everything is off right now. Okay? Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Let's talk about our sponsor, Patriot Gold Group. The warnings of a recession are just getting louder and louder. The sell in May and go away theory is kind of lost right now. When you look at Citibank, who was talking about a soft landing, there is not going to be a soft landing. You have to look at protecting yourself and your future. The best thing to do is look at getting precious metals into your retirement. The number one place to do that is Patriot Gold Group. You can call them at 888-330-1431, and they will send out a free investor guide that will answer all your questions. It's absolutely no obligation, but you have to look at what gold is doing lately. Gold has hit an all-time high, and every single recession has been hit by an inverted yield curve since 1945. That's what we have right now. A recession is coming, and you need to protect yourself. Look at Patriot Gold today, 888-330-1431. Call them today, or use the link below and get a free investor guide. Let them know that I allegedly sent you. Here's something we keep hearing over and over and over again, and that is another cyber attack. But this one's bad, 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 bad. And the reason for that is AT&T. AT&T just announced that 7.6 million customers had their data compromised. Personal data taken. Now, that's not the only thing. The thing about AT&T that's wild is it was not only the current customers, it was past customers, okay? The database that was stolen, 73 million people. Back to the home phone days, okay? So think about when you signed up for phone usage, what you gave the phone company. Your name, your employer, your social, your address, everything that they have. Well, they've got that from 73 million people. Now, AT&T had the gall to step forward and say, listen, you guys need to be vigilant right now in checking your credit. How about these companies be vigilant with our data, with everything that's being stolen from us and compromised from us? These companies aren't doing anything about this right now. This is terrible. So another cyber attack from AT&T. And again, you need to protect yourself. Okay, you need to watch your credit report. You need to make sure that your data is not being hacked and stolen, and no new credit cards are open or anything like that. Wow, okay? Again, there'll be a lawsuit. We'll get $27 5 years from now or something like that. But when do these companies get sued? Big time. When is there a problem that they're going to start fixing this? Because these companies are doing this over and over and over again, that they're getting into this data. So, you know, it's crazy. We talked earlier about New York City. You know, here's another thing about New York. New York is finished, okay? I'm telling you this right now. They're going to have problems. Here's another example of it. Unpaid property taxes in New York right now. Unpaid. Behind. People stiffing them and having them, you know, trying to collect them. $880 million right now, okay? As of April 1st. $880 million. Guys, the idea of any business, municipality, city, state, government is to collect taxes, to collect their money to move things forward. You know what? Because the criminals are running the asylum right now. Not worried about that right now, okay? Isn't that terrible? So, I mean, you cannot make that up, guys. $880 million. That's just, you know, such a huge number. I thought it was, 88 million. No, 880. We talked about this a little over a week ago, talking about how inventories for the, pawn shops have just gone through the roof. And there is a show on True TV called Hardcore Pawn. Les Gold owns that shop. He runs it with his son and with his daughter. But he talked about where do people go to get money fast? And he just did an interview, and the interview's below, talking about how desperate people are right now. People are at the worst he's ever seen it. And this is the beginning of the downturn. This is the beginning of people getting upset. And this is the beginning of people being desperate. He said this is just the beginning of this right now. So, he sees that people are more and more desperate for little things, trying to pawn trinkets and trying to pawn the smallest of items just to get gas money, food money, to get through their day. What do you guys think about this? Because it's going to get worse and worse and worse. And Les's show is crazy. I mean, the stuff that's brought into that place has just been nuts. So it's going to be interesting to see what is brought in. And, do you agree with Les? Do you think things are getting bad right now? Because I sure do. I think that we haven't seen anything yet. One thing that's very interesting is, remember the Grand Prix, the Formula One race that happened in Vegas in November? They issued a 113-page report that you can read below, talking about how much money they made. And every single person that I've talked to has just talked about how difficult the Formula One race was in the economy. And they're saying it left an $884 million impact on the community. And think about this, 17,000 man hours were put into, building things and doing structures and parking and all this other stuff. But they said that was all paid through license agreements, fees, and sponsorships that they got. So they're trying to say that the thing made a net of $77 million. Who knows if that's true? Who knows if that's true or not? But, we talked about data breaches. One data breach that's kind of wild is there's a company, Wright and Phillips, that wrote its victims of the data breach, and they have a settlement that you can get up to $5,000 on. So the link is below, And if your data was stolen, you were a customer of theirs, you could get up to $5,000 back from them, okay? You know, you're gonna, thank God it's that much, because you're gonna see more and more problems like this, especially with things like the AT&T debacle and all the hospitals and everything that we're seeing that are getting hit right now. This is only going to escalate and get worse. I'm gonna finish this video with these last couple stories. And the first one is a Chinese company has bought BMW's flying car design. Now, I lose my mind every time I hear these things, because it's not a car, it's an airplane or a helicopter. It can go to 8,200 feet up, and it has 4 wheels, and within 3 minutes it can convert to a flying machine, okay? Helicopter, plane, whatever you want to call it, but it's a Slovakian design, and it can go 8,200 feet. How is that not a helicopter, okay? So again, I am telling you, it'll never fly. You'll never get insurance on this stuff, because I'm telling you, there's rich people that are awful in this world, and I've met a few of them. And the problem with these people is that they're smarter than us, they're better than us, and they don't need to listen to rules. So they're gonna fly and land in front of their own house, in your HOA too, okay? Now, final story, and this made me laugh with glee, and that is, there's a lot of people that worked at FTX that were underlings of Sam Bankman-Fried and his gorgeous girlfriend, Carolyn Lovedove. You know, I forgot her last name, thank God. God, that was erased from my mind right there, okay? So, but these people are finding it difficult, because what do employers do when you show up and you interview? Where'd you work at last? Oh, I worked under Scam Bankman-Fried, and we ripped off $11 billion. He's gonna pay restitution right now for that. And these people can't find jobs now. Imagine that, okay? Man, we ripped off all these people, and wow, I was there. I was right in his office. I was in the Bahamas hanging out, and it was great. So they actually wrote an article talking about how, woe is me, we're having such a difficult time getting through this and trying to find employment. Okay, sorry. Have a nice day, okay? Let me know what you think about that. Please like, please subscribe, share the video, comment. I love your comments. And, you know, if you want to get a hold of me, it's hello@iallegedly.com. Onward and upward, guys, and we'll see you guys very soon.